want to experience things before we finish school. And I haven't even kissed anyone.
Popular people go for popular people, not people like me and not people like you.
Face it, he's out of your league.
So, were you excited to work with each other in this film? Are you a fan of each other's work?
I was dreading it. I've heard awful stories about Charithra, and it was a horrible experience.
Agreed.
No, it was amazing. I mean, it was when we were filming, it was around, or actually when we got cast, it was around the time that Bridgerton was coming out and Charithra was just like everywhere. And so I was very excited. I was like, we're doing a film together. That's cool.
But also, can I say, like, it's absolutely mad. Bash and I, 20 years ago now, maybe just under 20 years ago, we had our first professional credit together when we were kids, and we didn't know until we got chatting about how we got our start in the industry.
Like, we were in the same we were on stage together for the first time.
Wow.
There was like a group of kids.
Yeah, and we didn't know. We didn't know.
Yeah.
It was meant to be.
That's amazing. Yeah, it was meant to be.
Literally, yeah.
Full circle moment here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of mad.
Yeah.
It's mad.
This is kind of crazy, actually.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just thinking, because we started at the Oxford New Theatre in
when we were
Chitty
like
Bang
this
Bang,
little.
like in the ensemble, and we're now sat. This is weird. Promoting the film. This is so cool.
I don't think we're making a big enough deal about how crazy that is.
This is insane. Because I would have been...
Six? I think you would have been like 6, and I would have been like 10.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That is crazy. Did you have Did you say... Did you have a line?
I don't think I had a line.
No.
You had lines, right?
I had a line. Just one.
Oh,
yeah.
But it meant you got a microphone, which I thought was the coolest thing ever.
That is cool.
My line was, have you got any toys? And you best believe.
Can we also appreciate, I love Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, but the villain is so scary.
So creepy. Also,
Child snatcher.
the guy had like this long nose, and I remember watching him take it off. It was always really creepy.
Yeah.
Well, that was amazing.
But that is crazy. Sorry.
Yeah,
Onwards.
No worries. That
We're
was
just
amazing.
reveling in the past.
No, so, what made you fall in love with this movie and your respective characters?
I think how hopeful it was. I think there's a lot, especially with rom-coms, there's like a recent trend of being very cynical with the rom-com and like, hee, we know we're in a rom-com and how silly is that? Whereas I think this is incredibly hopeful. It really believes in itself.
Yeah.
And it takes itself very it's a very incredibly fun movie, guys. But it believes in itself. And I think that kind of hopeful optimism is needed right now.
Like, just that earnestness, like you said, of, I think, excuse me, it's very easy with these films to not actually believe in it and be like, oh, like a bit apologetic. And actually, one thing we had to work on, which we did in the rehearsals, was we sung some 80s like love songs that were so cheesy. And the first time we did them, basically like karaoke, we were like pissing ourselves. And the director, Alex, was like, no, like, I need you to really believe these lyrics, because if you guys are embarrassed with what you're doing, it's not going to work.
And it's not funny either.
And also, and then actually scenes that we were playing almost like a comedic scene, actually you're like, this is a teenager who's on the cusp of telling the love of his life, the person he thinks he's going to spend the rest of his life with, that he loves. Like, that's a big thing. And I think I fell in love with this film when I found that like human, and I could see, yes, it's silly, and yes, it's a big film with big spectacles, but actually underneath it is like, this is what it feels like as a teenager to be in love for the first time and get it wrong. And like, as soon as I found that human hook, I was in, and I was like, oh my god, I love this world.
I also think everyone in our industry is really self-critical.
Yeah.
We're always like, how is this coming across? How is filming going? And I love the fact that all of the crew, they would all go like to themselves, to each other, wow, this is really good.
Yeah.
It happens so many times where everyone would go, no, this is good. This is
like,
really good. And people in our industry never say that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, they believe in us. That's cute.
So you mentioned Alex. Actually, it's a bit of a Bridgerton reunion here, because Alex directed 2 episodes of Bridgerton. How was working with him again?
I loved it. Do you know what it is? Alex has so much enthusiasm. He is so prepared. He is so passionate. And you cannot ask for anything more from a director than someone who, with their full heart, believes in a project. And Alex did entirely that. We would definitely work with him again. We had such a wonderful time with him.
I think you feel like, if you've ever met him, you'll feel his energy in the film.
Yeah.
It's just got this like why not quality that I love.
And like just so prepared. We didn't go over a single day. It was a jam-packed schedule because he knew exactly what he wanted. He had such a clear vision.
And
we loved it.
had space to play, which is like quite a difficult thing. Like actually to be quick, but when you get to the scene to like, we could really have time to play and try things.
And like, he was very generous. So we would go up to him and, you know, all right, not make it, you know. As an insecure actor, I go, oh, I'm not really sure about that. And sometimes he'll say, okay, let's go again. But if he knew we got it, he'd have the confidence to say, no, we've got it, let's move on.
There was a scene that we were doing that we did not like, and we were like, we need to go again. And he was like, no, you guys, we've got it. And he was like, look, there's time on the schedule, I could give you another run. I'm telling you we've got it. And that was like quite nice because you go, okay, he's not going to move on until he's happy.
There was, I'm not going to spoil it, but there was one incredibly like stunt-wise tricky scene that Bash had that we only planned to do once because it takes up a lot of time to reset. And we only planned to do it once. That was what was in the schedule. And we did it. Something was not quite right. And Alex was like, no, this is very important. We need to go again. So that fills you with a lot of confidence as an actor.
And like, it took a lot of time to reset and stuff, and the fact that he committed was cool.
That's amazing. So there's a scene in this movie where Archie prepares like this screening, this date with Emilia, and they play Night of the Living Dead. Yes. If you had to prepare a date like this, which movie would you choose?
I have an answer to this.
What's your answer?
I would go for a scary movie because I think it's an excuse to have physical contact.
So smart, always one step ahead. I get properly scared. I made the mistake of...
Oh my God, that's
you'd be like, oh no. I get properly scared by scary films, so I wouldn't watch. I watched a really scary film in a cabin in a wood with some friends, and I was like, this was such a bad mistake.
Yeah, that's
terrifying. I'd go for a classic that you can kind of enjoy.
You know the mistake I've made though? So one of my favourite films is a film called My Cousin Vinny, and I love it so much that I like watch people watching it, and I'm desperate for them to love it as much as I do. And seriously, when I show people I'm dating the film and they don't respond to it in the way that I want them to, it really turns me off. So don't watch your favourite films.
Yeah.
That's so true.
And you're like, wait.
Yeah. Is that good? And they're like,